The Sentinel is known to be reliable, fearless, disciplined, consistent, courageous, motivated, and skillful.
So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances.
All these qualities start from the mind. Your mind can be your worst enemy or your most powerful weapon.
The world becomes your library to help you to become better at your craft.
Is this the dagger?
Learn how to achieve greatness and tap into the Sentinel mindset.
This episode is brought to you by The Arena. The Arena focuses on helping law enforcement and security professionals achieve their ultimate work experience, curriculum, and fitness goals. Visit thearenatoronto.com.
What's up, everyone? Hope you're having a fantastic day today. Today's topic. I've been meaning to talk about this for quite a while, but before I do, welcome to the Sentinel Mindset. I am your host, Constantine Ioannou, and I have the amazing Matthew Doyle as our number one top tier producer in the back. How are you doing today, Matthew?
Fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Amazing. You sound fantastic. So today what I wanted to talk about is something that I know frustrates many people, Matthew. It frustrates a lot of people, and I mean a lot of companies, a lot of decision makers, and obviously the general public.
For sure.
And I've actually spoken about this before in the past, called Unqualified, the state of the security and why it happens. And we did a lot of focus on basically the training that one may have as a service provider. But what I want to talk about today is how are these companies that provide security services, how are they being hired?
Yeah.
Why are they being hired? And is it really the guard's fault that represents the company? That's what I want to go over today. So before we get started, Matthew, I'm going to ask you a question.
For sure.
Do you know what an RFP is?
I'm not. Could you actually explain it to me?
Okay, so this is going to be interesting because today the name of this topic is the RFP process destroying the security industry? This is not a fact. This is something for you to consider and see if that is the case. A request for proposal, RFP, request for proposal. It's a common procurement mechanism used by organizations to solicit proposals from vendors for products, for services, or solutions. Now, in the security industry, as with many other sectors, the RFP process is used to select vendors, security agencies to provide security. That's what an RFP is, okay?
All right.
And I can tell you right now, I'm not a fan of RFPs, Matthew.
Really?
At all. And I'll tell you why. Because in my humble experience, we've done our fair share of RFP proposals, and we kind of at this present moment just don't bother with it.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because we have found through our own experiences that the RFP is designed really for who can come in at the lowest price.
Yeah.
That's what we found in our experience. Now, I know a lot of people will say things like, no. It's to create a fair process. So to be fair, Matthew, be fair, in my hand, I have a document. I put some points together. Let's talk about what the pros of an RFP would be.
I think it's a good place to start.
Yeah, that's right. Because we have to be nonpartisan, right?
Of course, we got to be fair.
We got to be fair. All right, here we go. Let's go with number one. Standardization. The RFP process provides a structured way for organizations to compare vendors and solutions on a level playing field. That makes sense.
That's fair.
Okay,
yeah, we need
that makes sense. 100%. Let's go to number two. Due diligence. Through RFPs, companies can ensure they're performing adequate due diligence when selecting vendors, potentially reducing the risk of choosing an ineffective or untrustworthy solution. Let's go to number three.
Yeah.
Budget management. RFPs allow companies to specify their budgetary constraints and ensure proposals fit within those limits. It goes on a couple of more, and I put some more here, but I don't want to bore you. Let's go now into why, through my experience, and what this article is showcasing, why RFPs may not be a good idea for a lot or for solutions, and why specifically for the security industry. Okay, let's start off with number one. One-size-fits-all approach. Critics argue that the RFP process can be overly rigid and doesn't account for the unique needs of each organization. A generic RFP might not address specific security challenges an organization is facing. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's go to number 2, limited innovation. By sticking to predefined requirements in an RFP, companies might miss out on newest cutting-edge solutions that vendors could offer if given more freedom. But let's focus on this last one. Are you ready for this, Matthew?
I'm ready for it.
Focus on cost over quality. The RFP process can sometimes place too much emphasis on cost, leading organizations to choose the cheapest proposal rather than the most effective or innovative solution. But Constantine, that's not true. I mean, we really do care about the meat and potatoes of a proposal and what the services have to provide. Okay, fine. If that is the case, here's what I'm going to encourage you to do, because again, this is my research. I encourage you to do your research as well. Of
course.
RFPs are public. That means everyone that's bidding, you can usually see who is bidding.
Yep.
And you can also find out the outcome of who the winner was. Let's pull a document out here. Now, for the purpose of this, I'm not going to mention the names, but there was a municipality that was looking for a security agency to represent their facility, right? So they put out a bid out, looking for coverage 7 days a week.
Sure.
And I noticed that there was 14 companies that applied. Out of those 14 companies, we had some of your core regular mega companies in there. And then you had a bunch of other small ones, okay? We didn't bid on this. As I told you, my process on views on RFPs.
Yeah.
The highest bid, Matthew, the highest bid was $259,000.
Oh my God.
If it was our bid, we probably would have been $359 because we are on that higher level. But the lowest bid was $62,000. And then if I look at the medium of the other 12 bids, they were probably sitting at around between 120 to 150. The person that won the contract or the entity won it at $62,000.
That's crazy.
$62,000, highest $259, medium $120. Do you know what that shows me? That shows me that the majority of people that were bidding on this did their homework. How much am I going to pay my guard? What am I going to train that guard? And so forth. The person who bid the lowest, I mean, really, who are you going to get for that? Who are you going to get for that? That's the part I want to challenge here right now, the client. I'm talking to the client today because you're the one that's making the decision. But who I also want to be talking to, Matthew, is the person that's writing the RFP.
Of course.
Let's go into that. I have another little book here. I like printing these things out and I like reading them.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes I'll read Stephen King, maybe sometimes J.K. Rowling. Today I'm going to be reading from an RFP creator, okay? And my question out there is, the people that are writing the RFPs, do you have security knowledge and security backgrounds? And if you do, are you connected to the front line? Are you connected to the actual people that are doing the job? Well, let me explain. In this RFP, which I will not, again, mention the name, they're looking for an event venue, and they're looking for up to 200 guards. That they have a requirement that those guards will be the regular guards.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. No problem. 200 regular guards, that's fine. Let's keep reading. Oh, but wait a second. 4 hours are probably your average shift length. And they want the main people coming there on a regular basis. This location, by the way, is downtown. So this is what I mean about the disconnect now. I'm writing this RFP thinking, okay, this is what my request is. Let's talk about now, how can somebody win on a product like this?
That's ridiculous.
How much does it cost parking to go downtown, Matthew?
Oh my God, it can go from like $20 to $30 if you're lucky.
20 to 30. We're talking about all-time high of cost of living. We're talking about inflation. We're talking about security for the most part that are getting close to minimum wage.
Yep.
Okay. And you got to pay for parking, and you got to pay for gas, and you're being told that you got to have a 4-hour shift. And let's add more to this, that you have to be readily available. That means for you to get your potentially 30 hours on a bare minimum, you have to work 8 days a week. But wait a second, there's only 7. Because last time I checked, 7 times 4 was 28.
Oh, you're correct there.
Okay. So what I'm trying to get at, people, is that the people that are writing the RFP, if you're not in tune with what is happening in the industry, if you're not in tune that what does it take for you to get someone, the whole thing about you get what you pay for is a demonstration here.
100%.
Now, yesterday I was watching a video.
Yeah.
And by the way, everyone, the reason why I'm a little bit flustered with this is because every single day we're seeing the industry get weaker and weaker. And I'm talking about third-party security entities, and there's hundreds of them that are providing security. And the thing is that they can only provide security if they're hired by a client.
Yeah.
And if all the client is looking at is cost, just cost and nothing else, which is usually the case, then how can you be surprised when you get security not showing up or showing up late or not in proper uniform or dealing with the situation and actually creating liability for the organization?
You're watering down that quality just for the sake of cost.
That's right. So what was I watching yesterday on LinkedIn? A security professional posted a video, and you see this individual, a security guard, that is doing his job, looks like it could be in a mall or a retail shop, and then somebody scans down to his feet, and then you see a beautiful pair of brown thong sandals.
It's crazy.
I said thong sandals. Is it thong or thong?
We can put it up on the screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they're the sandals that you would wear at the beach that go in between your big toe and your index toe, I guess.
Let's just say when I'm thinking of a security professional, this is the last thing I'm imagining them.
Okay.
Wear.
But they were wearing them proud. Now, all the comments that I saw on this video were like, for the most part, fire the security. Fire the security. How dare he? How dare he do this? Fire him. But then this one person commented, and I actually kind of leaned to what they were saying, is that, is it the security guard's fault? Or is it the company that hired him? Or is it the client that hired the company? What due diligence are you doing as a client to hire your provider? It's not good enough. It's not good enough that they can provide you ample coverage across the country if that is a requirement. It's not good enough that they tell you something. What is the action behind it? We're going to do another episode on what you need to look for to hire a qualified, reputable security agency. But today, this message is for the client that hires the security, that you need to make sure that you are put in a position where you're hiring people that are going to represent your organization. Because right now, if something happens and that individual needs to respond, well, his thong sandals are going to limit him from getting there. But the reality is if it's happening, why is the provider allowing that to happen? And really, this profession called protectors, which is what we identify as protectors, you're there to provide security and safety for environment and for people. If you're not doing that as an individual, then you shouldn't be working. Plain and simple. This job caters to a specific skill set, to a specific individual. Does it? Because that's not what we're seeing out there. One person who commented, and I'll let you give me your thoughts on this, commented on this thong-sandaled individual. He says, what you pay for is what you get. Here is the result of half a century of not regulating wages. And there's the quality. Security contracts are often marginalized at this level in Canada. The companies technically get the cheapest of the job and the contract is over. And they just send an employee floating in and out. And when one doesn't do well, they send another one in. And then he goes on and saying about the last company was horrible is a recurring sentence in the client's mouth. Meanwhile, no one really cares. Clients care the insurance they pay is less and the security is forced to use them. Do you know what he means by that, Matthew? Most entities don't care if their security is qualified or not. They're just doing it simply for insurance.
Yeah, they're doing the minimum.
It's like when your car insurance tells you, do you have winter tires? And people can say yes or no, but they're not checking until something happens.
Of course, till it's too late.
Till it's too late. And it's like, where's your winters? Oh, you told us you had winters, right? Security company told us you had qualified guards until something happens. And Matthew, I talk to people, to clients, to decision makers on a regular basis, because I'm always trying to study and find out. And I can tell you there is a lot of unhappy clients across Canada and the US in regards to what they're getting from their service provider. And there's a quote, and I'm going to read this quote to you right now. I was actually going to do a podcast on this on another time frame. But you know what? I'm going to just say it right now. This is a quote by Mark Cuban. This quote states this: work like there's someone working 24 hours a day to take it all away from you. What do you think about that quote?
That's powerful. I think the fact that like you have to always prepare that someone potentially better might take that position away.
Exactly. Yeah. And that, by the way, is a very, very real thing.
Yeah.
There's always someone there. It's the rabbit and the turtle story that you were told as a kid.
It is.
The rabbit is all cocky. He is strong. He is powerful. And he gets so cocky that he just lets off the gas and the little turtle in his own fashion, he wins the race.
Yeah.
This is what Mark Cuban is saying. And this is a wake-up call to the industry that if you are providing a sub-qualified part service, it's going to catch up with you.
It will.
We've heard us talk many times about this. The state of the world is getting worse. If you're someone that doesn't believe that, I encourage you literally to look out and see what's happening.
Yeah.
And if that is the case, do you want your children or your family, do you want friends, co-workers, do you want them going out in public and potentially being hurt? Because that literally is what could happen if we don't have proper mechanisms in place.
It's true. It's true. We're designed to be there to support the people. And if clients are getting the bare minimum, how can we ensure my family, my parents, my everyone is safe around me? I want to make sure that people are actually going to these places and can feel safe.
Absolutely. So that's why for me, when I look at this, and by the way, I've studied this enough and I have no problems exposing it, but there's built-in business mechanisms from these large companies that basically they're set to fail, meaning as in we know we're going to lose this contract in 3 years.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. But that's fine because we're going to be able to pick up another big contract.
For sure.
And to create this little circle. The problem here is that the person that continuously loses in this situation is you, the consumer,
Yeah.
and the client. And you should not have to pay for anything that does not add up to what you're getting.
Of course.
So, with that being said, what can be done? Is the RFP process truly destroying the security industry? Well, maybe not. Maybe not. But I'll tell you this. When we look at it, if we want to be more accurate, we can kind of say that the traditional RFP process has limitations and there's challenges that will definitely need to be addressed. And for me, the starting point for this is the individual that is responsible to write the RFP. Or forget the RFP, the person that is responsible to hire the agency. You have to be able to look and connect the dots between what you're asking for and what is out there. And the only way you can do that is to research what is out there. If you are doing this purely based on price, you will get exactly what you pay for. That means that when that guard does show up with his sandals, if he does show up, you just have to eat it up and say, that's what I paid for. If I go out right now and I purchase a chocolate bar for $1, I don't know how much chocolate it costs. I don't need chocolate really. But let's just say it's $1, like back in the days. I know that what I'm putting in my body is not great for me. I know that.
Yeah.
But I know if I go out there and buy a chicken breast, right, which will cost more than $1,
For sure.
that I'm going to get a lot of nutrients from there. That's going to help me and make my physical well-being even higher level. It's going to keep my nutrition in peak. It's going to be better for me.
100%. And you can't put a price on safety.
You cannot put a price on safety, but I do understand why price is there. I mean, budgets are there, and the security industry is one of those things that doesn't make anybody money. It costs money, right? But then you got to do trade-offs. What does it cost me legally to have to go to court because the guard that I hired put me in this situation, right? You have to look at that. And really, none of this that I'm talking about right now will even be relatable or even be a concern to you until something bad happens.
100%. Yeah.
And turn on the news, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's always bad, it's always negative, but in our industry, some people have passed away or have been stabbed and assaulted, and this is real. And you have to look at everything. You just can't look at one thing. You got to look at the big picture. You look at the qualifications of the guard. You look at the training, and you look at the proper requirements to hire that individual. And then you have to look even further. You got to put onus on the client who hired the provider. It's domino effect.
It is.
I want to see this industry elevated. I want to see this industry completely change where we take security, where we take the concept of protection and put it up there and provide the proper resources and provide the proper budgets and the proper mindset to make it really work for all parties, for the client, for the agency, and for the provider. This is how we're going to make and see change happen. It can't just be one approach, but it all starts from the ask. And the ask is, I require security.
It's amazing.
Matt, any other words you can throw here? Because I mean, at the end of the day, I truly want to see people succeed. right?
Of course.
And any thoughts that you can come from this?
Well, the big thing is like it's human nature to strive to improve. And a lot of things have been improving through technology and different aspects, but this is a part that I feel like that's been lagging behind.
Right.
And I know that you're a big advocate for this. I want this to improve because this won't just impact the clients, it's going to impact the people around them and the people that we care for. So
That's
I think
right.
it's important.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that, Matt. Again, we look at everything as a whole. Again, for us in the protection industry, we just want to see the industry elevate.
Mm-hmm.
We want to see it continue to foster good representation. We want people to be hired that can lead by empathy, problem solvers, solution-oriented individuals.
We want protectors.
We want protectors. That is what we need. And if there's a problem and a disconnect in the message of the organization looking for that, that's the problem. We need to search for them because they are out there.
They are.
And I can tell you this right now, when you hire a protector, you know you've hired a protector. I'll tell you that right now. Let's limit the amount of mindset that's out there currently right now. Let's look to elevate the change. Let's limit frustrations. Let's make it a win-win situation for all parties. And I assure you, we will be a greater city and a greater model in what security should be.
100%.
Ladies and gentlemen, have a fantastic day. Be aware, be in tune, and have a fantastic day.
This podcast is brought to you by Executive Protection Lifestyle Canada. Make sure to drop by next week and don't forget to subscribe.